Hello, friends. This is Teacher Sherby. Welcome to another lesson with me. In this lesson, we are going to talk about how to divide mixed number by mixed number. But before we do that, I want to go over a couple of things with you. We already know that mixed numbers should have a whole number and they should have a fraction. So it can look something like this. And since we're doing mixed number by mixed number, we're going to write another whole number and a fraction. And in this case, I do same denominator or like denominator because we're going to review. Remember, the only time that you are dividing is when we're doing fractions. What do I mean by that? You want to make sure that when you're dividing, that you are dividing fractions because that's going to make your life much, much, much easier. Here we have two mixed numbers. Remember, we said we want to change it into fractions. And the way we do this is by doing denominator times whole number and your answer plus 1 or whatever your numerator is. We're going to do 3 times 1. Let me write that out. 3 times 1 is equal to 3. And we're keeping our denominator. We're not changing it. Then we're going to add the 1/3 to it. Your answer is equal to 4/3. You're going to do the same thing with the next mixed number. You're going to do 3 times 2. Keep your denominator 3. That's equal to 6/3. And you're going to add your numerator. Your answer is now 7/3. Now we can divide these because we have two fractions that are going on. And I want to point out to you that you don't want to change the order of your fractions. Because we have 4/3 on our left, we're going to keep it there. And we have 7/3 on our right. We are going to keep it there. And I know I've been mentioning that you would ignore your denominator. And the reason why you do that is, let's say if we write it out so you can see. We have 4/3 and we are dividing 7/3. I want to write it out for you so you can see what we are doing. So in your numerator, you have 4 divided by 7. And in your denominator, you have 3 divided by 3. The 4 divided by 7, you can write it as a fraction. And the 3 divided by 3, you can also write that as a fraction. We know that if you have your numerator and your denominator as the same number, that's equal to 1 whole. And we already have our 4/7. So you see, even though there's a fraction going on in your numerator and you have a whole number of 1 going on in your denominator, you know that from previous lessons and from previous knowledge that any number you have in your numerator, you said it's over your denominator of 1, that's going to give you the same number, which is why I say ignore your denominators because that's going to be equal to 1 anyways when you divide it. And you don't want to do all this extra work that looks so confusing. Once you ignore your denominator, then now you can focus on your numerators, which is 4 divided by 7. And remember, you read it from left to right.